Well, it has been a while since I've done a video the likes of this for a period of time. And the overall purpose for having this video, excuse the mess, everything's kind of, I don't know how much of it can really be seen, but there is a good bit of stuff in this room as it is of current. I'm in the process of moving out of my place, and there's a lot of just stuff in general that's kind of taking place in that process. Nonetheless, I have something I kind of wanted to get off my chest. Not to say that it really bothers me that much, but the overall idea, right? I think a lot of people need to understand. And I feel like when it comes to collectibles and what kind of comes in with every bit of that is the idea that there's a lot of emotion tied behind collectibles. What does that mean? Well, say for instance, like one of the things that I like to do in my pastime is I'll scroll through Facebook with the overall intent and purpose to find certain things, because I do a good bit of selling as well as buying between consoles, games, Pokemon cards, Magic cards. I don't do as much Magic these days, but I still will buy the stuff and occasionally sell it, list it on TCG Player after a period of time, or just use it as kind of trade fodder for other stuff that I look for. But one of the things that I've come across a lot is you find these posts that are, and that they have either in the title or somewhere within the post itself that price is firm or firm on price. And I personally go into these situations with full-on intent of a little bit of haggle, right? When I post something myself onto something like Facebook Marketplace, especially when you go to a yard sale or you have a yard sale yourself, the overall intent behind that is that people are going to come and haggle. They're there right in front of you. They want this product. And I think the largest problem that I feel as though a lot of people don't understand is, as much as I'd love to acquire, get full price for my stuff, which as a buyer-seller I do. There's nothing wrong with that. If people don't know how to ask, they're not going to get a price. What's the worst case? If you plan on potentially purchasing the item at a certain price, then and you're seeing it right there, why not? But at the same time, there's no harm in asking, especially if you're going to pick it up for that price anyway. But I don't know. I think as I was about to go on before I explain all that, there's always, in any market, there's a fee, there's a cost you have to pay to play. That's how that goes. Take buying a house or selling a house, for instance. There's always money involved in the process. Somebody is getting a cut or taking a cut out of something. And that's just how that goes. Even if you don't use a realtor, you're still probably, and I know this because I'm going through the process myself, which, at the absolute low is like somewhere in the 4%, and average here in Wisconsin is 6%, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. And there's places that are even higher than that. And that's the thing, is like, to do business, you have to pay to play. For me to do business at the card shows that I go to, I have to pay for those tables. I have to pay for that product. I have to take the risk in the product. And there are times where that risk does not pay out. And that's stuff that a lot of people just don't seem to understand. And yeah, I've been told I pay higher than pretty much most people. I've run into very few that pay relatively close. So, to look at certain things in a certain light or a perspective, it takes a lot more of an understanding, people who are business savvy. And then when you run into those people that are saying firm on price, like it's an immediate turnoff. Nobody wants that. I don't want to deal with it. Like I'll still go ahead and think that I'm wasting that person's time by shooting them an offer, and at times it actually works. That's the thing, and this is where, even in a situation where people say firm on price, and this is where the recruiting world has brought me to some understanding as to how things work. Like there are people who are going to be dead set in their mind and they do not want to join the Marine Corps, and that is fine. People have their own mentalities behind it, but granted, a lot of them are decided without a full knowledge of the scope or the spectrum or whatever it is that could be afforded or available to them. Now, I look at that as I can take that same mentality and turn it into my, like, run it through my sales bit, my business, and just the overall way that I run things. And when you dig deeper and you ask people why, or if you at least shoot them an offer, worst case scenario, they're probably going to fire back with an offer or say no. Now I know. But now you have, as opposed to somebody who was not even a lead at all, they could still be a cold lead, but now they're slightly warmer because they now know who you are. They have a name. They have somebody that they can message if they want to immediately sell it. And that has worked for me in the past, because something that the Marine Corps teaches us as recruiters is people's circumstances, feelings, and goals change every 3 to 6 to 9 months, right? So you're looking at a certain period down the line. So every potential purchase now is not necessarily a purchase. You know, when I say potential, I'm not saying the purchase is not going to happen now. I'm saying it could happen further out. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, it's, you know, with the mentality that, yes, I could do it now. Sometimes I even try and reach out to people when I know I don't even have the money, because I know that there are times when I'm doing business, I will have just wads of money burning a hole in my pocket. I don't know where to spend it. So I reach out to these people pre-tense, right, to be able to have that person in my back pocket. So even if they say yes, I'll just let them know, hey, you know, maybe I'll play a little bit of like, oh, I don't have the money, or just kind of string them along a little bit, and eventually just go hit them back up, right? Sometimes that's kind of evil. I mean, like I said, sometimes I don't do it a lot, but when you run into a potentially good product and you can get it for a good price, what's the point of not hitting that person up? Maybe you do or will eventually have that money to make that purchase at some point, or maybe you'll just go, you know, sell something off for a somewhat of a, I don't want to say loss, but less than what you would take for it, just to go pick that item up. You never know what the circumstances are, so being able to take that opportunity and move it forward to be able to go and get more is this kind of, it's a give and a take. I mean, it's business. It is what it is, right? So I think where I'm coming from this is you need to be open-minded. You need to understand that in any aspect of business, there's always the pay-to-play scenario. And the less you pay, the less you play. That's just how it is. And for those of you that want to say I'm firm on my price, like, good for you, good luck on the sale. But realistically, I mean, if you got somebody in front of you and they're offering you $5 less on a $500 card, are you going to say no? I mean, come on, $495 when you probably paid 20-30% off of what you have it listed for. I mean, when it comes down to it, I understand you want to make everything you can. And for those of you that live off of doing this, live off the hobby, making money off of, like, don't get me wrong, you know, it's viable. But the people who do go to shows like every freaking weekend, 2-3 shows, like, that's insane. That's their lifestyle. And then their lifestyle is just in between shows, buying and selling more stuff. Like, I see some of the stuff that these people be picking up. I mean, I'm glad I have what I have, but it's a lot of stuff, and that's a lot of work to constantly, you know, go to each and every one of these shows and take down and set up every single time. It just doesn't appease me. It's a lot of work. Without further ado, though, I mean, that's just kind of my little rant topic situation. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, so maybe somebody will learn or take something from this and be able to kind of take that forward, do with what they see, or, you know, see fit, or however they'd like to apply, right? Never be afraid to take risk, because without risk, there is truly not that much reward. Yeah, aside from that, if anybody ever wants to reach out and understand how I do business, why I do business the way I do, I mean, I like to think of it still as a hobby, but at the same time, I'm trying to make money for it, in the sense of the time and the effort that I put in to go find and locate and do everything, in the sense of what it is. I mean, it's the age-old way of business, is buy low, sell high. I just buy higher and still sell the same as probably most. So, I mean, I've never had, rarely have I had people actually complain about my prices. Probably one person since I've been doing it, like, oh, you stiff on your prices. Like, no, you just don't know how to haggle. That's what that comes down to. So it's a skill, it's an art, you know, it's part of the process. That being said, I'm signing out. I will I don't know how long it's going to be until I do another video like this. Anyway, I do appreciate everybody. good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is that you are watching this particular video. And thank you for letting me waste your time. That's it.